Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am really excited for today's video. We're going to be doing a Q&A. I'm also going to be showing you most of what is going to be in a giveaway that I'm doing since I reached 35,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I just want to thank you guys for spending your time and watching my videos. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Also for subscribing, I really appreciate that. It helps the growth of this channel. And on top of that, thank you so much for all of your thoughtful, gracious, informative, and helpful comments. You guys are the best. If I ask just like a simple question of like, oh, what would you guys recommend? I get like an outpouring of recommendations, of your experiences. You guys really take, not only do you take the time to watch my videos, but you also take the time to like type out these really thoughtful comments. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. I think that to me, like the community building part of all of this is the absolute most important part to me, on top of sub count, on top of view count, any of that stuff. I just love the comments, and I know I can't get to all of them. I can't respond to all of them, especially when I travel. I just don't have the time to go through them all. But know that I am reading through all of them. I at least try and give a heart to all the comments that I had a chance to read. But I just want to let you guys know that I really appreciate that. I think time is our most precious commodity. We can't get it back. So I appreciate you spending your time watching and spending your time commenting. That means the most to me. So what I wanted to do was just show you quickly like some of the highlights of this giveaway. There's going to be a lot more stuff in there. I just didn't want to like spend too much time showing you each individual thing, but there's going to be a lot of like Sigma brushes included. There's going to be some Sigma brush cleaners included, and I didn't want to bore you with each individual one, but I will try and list every single thing in the giveaway site as to what's going to be included. So to enter the giveaway, just click the link down below, and all you need to be is subscribed to this YouTube channel. That's how you enter. If you're already subscribed, you still have to enter the giveaway. So go ahead and click on that link. You'll just have to give me your full name and your email address where I can contact you at if you've won the giveaway. I may also have you give me your Instagram handle, because if I don't get a response on email, what I'll do is try and reach out over Instagram. We'll see. I just don't want to make that a requirement in case you're not on Instagram. So that giveaway link will be down below. So just quickly, what I'm going to be including in the giveaway are two Sonia G brushes. This is the Crease Pro and the Worker 3. These are the two single brushes that she just came out with, but these will be included in the giveaway. I also have the NARS Skin Deep palette. I decided to include this because it was neutral toned. It's like deeper skin friendly. So I thought this would work for kind of like a wider population. I also have some lipstick and lip gloss from Kogan Doe. I have a lipstick from Giorgio Armani. I have a lipstick from Edward Bess. I also have a Miracle Lip Balm from Emile Cordon. This is in the flavor Moroccan Mint. And these are just such gorgeous little pots, and look at that beautiful like pistachio green color. I'm also including some M Cosmetics True glosses. I really love these. Let me just open this up to show you because these are just gorgeous. But there are 5 minis in this little set. Isn't that adorable? And then I have a whole bunch of Surratt beauty stuff. So I have 6 of the eyeshadows here. I've already opened these eyeshadows once just to make sure that they were all intact. I don't want to keep opening them up. I want to kind of keep them pristine for the giveaway winners. So again, I will list all the colors on that giveaway site, but 6 Surratt eyeshadows, 3 of the Surratt blushes, 3 of the Surratt lip sleeks, 1 Surratt lip gloss, and 1 of the Prismatique lips. So I purchased all of these random Surratt products when Sephora was having that sale, and I thought it would be awesome to throw into this giveaway because I'm always kind of going on and on about how much I love Surratt. So I kind of want to just share that love. So those are the highlights. But again, that's not all that's going to be included in the giveaway. There's going to be quite a bit more. But again, I just didn't want to bore you too much with what was going to be included. But those are the highlights. So don't forget to enter the giveaway. The link is down below. And now let's get into the Q&A. So I put a call out on my community tab of my YouTube channel for questions for this Q&A. And you guys came through. There's always like a small part of me that's worried that like no one is going to respond. But you guys really came through. I have, I think, close to 200 questions. I can't answer them all. And so I apologize if I can't get to your question, but we will definitely be doing this again. But before we jump into the questions, I just need to pull out my knitting. So I think I saw a bunch of questions about my knitting, and I thought, Well, I'm not coordinated enough really to do my makeup while I answer questions. It's really hard for me to do like a get ready with me Q&A kind of a thing. So I thought, why don't I knit? There were a bunch of questions about my knitting and what I do in regards to knitting, and I can definitely knit more mindlessly than I can put makeup on. So I'm just knitting a wrap, and if anyone is interested, it is the tuft wrap, and you can find the pattern on Ravelry.com. I will link to that down below as well. But Ravelry.com is basically like, I don't even know, like a Facebook for knitters. It is like the social media platform for knitters. There's groups on there. You can like trade yarn. You share your finished objects. You like post like progress pics of your whips, your works in progress. And for designers, that's where we sell our patterns. So it is like a giant platform with, I don't even know how many knitters on there, but there's like a count of how many members there are. I mean, many people are on there. So anyway, I'm going to knit while we talk, but I think you can see me knitting. I hope it's not distracting. And I think my head is still in the frame. That'd be funny if my head was cut off and all you saw were my hands. But anyway, let's get to this Q&A. Let me pull them up on my phone here. All right, so we're going to do the first 5 and then I will randomly pick. So I really tried not to read the questions ahead of time. I just kind of skimmed, but I like my answers to be spontaneous. So anyway, okay, so the first one is, would you please show us a quick look at your knitting skills? So what I'm going to do is link to my designer page on Ravelry, which is the site that I was just talking about, and that's where I sell all my designs and everything. I have published a book with 8 designs in there. You'll also see pictures of those designs in there as well. So what I really love to design is cabled women's garments. That's really my thing. I also like hats, but I feel like if I find a really good cable, that I want it on a garment. I feel like it always ends up being wasted on like a hat or a scarf or something. Like I really want it kind of like worn and all over a garment. So you'll see on my page, and I'll also throw some pictures up in here. They'll probably look a little bit strange because they're not in the right format, but you'll see that I really like a lot of cables, and I've also been known to say cable like you mean it. So so that's really what I'm known for, and that's what I like to design. So hopefully that will give you a good idea of my quote unquote knitting skills. I don't knit all of my samples anymore just because it just takes too long. So I do have sample knitters and they will knit them, but a lot of my samples I have knit, and I can knit any of the garments that I've designed, if that makes sense. So it's always like this gray area when it comes to like being a knitter and being a knitwear designer. You know, people always ask like, oh, did you knit that? And I'm like, not this particular one, but I did design it. You know, it's like 2 different things. But I just think it's so interesting that sometimes there isn't that differentiation, that what they mean is, you know, did you design it? But they're asking if I knit it. Anyway, I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, but I definitely knit a lot less now that I'm a design director for a yarn company, because I just kind of like direct designs. I also design myself, obviously, but you know, we have to get samples churned out very quickly. So, you know, we have a lot of designs out to sample knitters all the time. And I just don't have the time to knit. Knitting obviously is a very slow process, and I just don't have the time to sit there and knit entire things. Oh, this is also a sweater that I designed. It's just a plain pullover sweater, but we were working with a new yarn and I really wanted to showcase the yarn, and I think in a plain stockinette stitch that you can really kind of get the best sense of a yarn. But this is just a crew neck pullover with set-in sleeves, and the name of this design, which again you can find on Ravelry, is called Hazel, and it has like split wrist cuffs right there. So I hope I answered your question, although very ineloquently. I apologize. Number 2, I can't think of any questions, but if you could please have your dog, make an appearance in the video, I'd be pleased as punch. Well, she currently is at daycare, but what I'll do is just try and get some footage of her and insert them here right now for you.
Hi, baby. Are you sleeping comfortably on mommy's lap? Huh? Do you want to show everyone your cute t-shirt? Look at your cute t-shirt. Fits her perfectly now. Hey, baby. Want to look at the camera for mommy? Want to look at the camera? No? Hmm? Everyone wants to see your cute face. Oh, you look sleepy, baby. You look very sleepy. Hi. Oh, your eyes are all red. That means you're sleepy. It's sleepy time for you.
So the third question is, does your husband get mad that you buy so much makeup? He does not get mad. I don't want to say he doesn't care, because, you know, he cares about what I do and what my interests are, but he's not concerned with it. I make my own money. He's always very interested in what I'm interested in. So, you know, not to say we take on each other's hobbies. We don't do that. But he knows that when I get into something, I really, really get into something. And so he's always very curious as to where it's going to lead. So one of the things I wanted to do when we were first dating was open up a bakery. And I like baked up a storm. Every day after work, I would bake like a layer cake. I would bake cupcakes. I would make different kinds of bread, like all kinds of crazy stuff. I ran out and I bought one of those KitchenAid stand mixers. I bought all the pans and started researching, you know, bakeries and this and that. But he was really impressed by like my obsession with it and how much I learned in a short period of time, because I like to throw myself into something. So I did not get into that, although it is still an interest of mine. But I didn't get into that because, you know, I was really young, and the lifestyle of someone owning a bakery is not what I was into at the moment. I mean, it actually would probably suit my lifestyle now, but you know, to wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning to bake everything to make sure it was all, you know, ready for opening, that was not something I was into when I was like 23 years old. So it was like I got into all of this baking stuff, and then I realized that like the lifestyle of it wouldn't be for me, you know. And then I got into running, and then I was really into running. I ran the marathon, and then I started knitting, and I got really into knitting, and I became a knitwear designer. So he's always just super curious where my interests are going to lead. He's always telling me that he admires my dedication to something. He's like, you know, that's really the only way you can get good at something, is if you become really, really obsessive about it. And he's like, it just comes so naturally to you. And I'm like, it's not healthy, but yes, that's the way I operate. I become very obsessive about one thing at a time. He honestly, I don't think he sees like the money in it. Anytime packages come, he's always like, oh, what'd you get this time? Like, oh, is that a new thing? He's very interested. You know, we met in business school, so we're always like talking about like the business of something. And one of his majors was entrepreneurship. So he's always like, oh, like he's very interested when I talk about, you know, someone like Makeup Geek, or when I talk about someone like Jeffree Star or Jaclyn Hill, even at this point, or what, you know, how Morphe blew up. Like he just thinks it's so fascinating, and he can find that fascination in almost anything. So that's what we like talk about, and that's what we always focus on. He never ever comments on how much money I spend on anything. You know, he's just 1000% supportive, and like, trust me, he knows that like whatever it is that I'm into and purchasing is like to feed this like obsession of mine. So yeah, so he just likes to sit back and see like where my obsession leads. He thinks it's very entertaining. I am 66, a retired esthetician and makeup artist. You reawakened my passion for makeup. Oh, that's great. You also make shopping for new, interesting, and luxurious items so much easier for me. So thank you very much, and continue your good work. Oh, well, thank you, Suzanne. Thank you so much. That's really kind of the point of why I started this channel. I wanted to be able to share information to make whoever watched my videos more informed consumers. So thank you. I really appreciate that comment. Congrats. I'd like to know more about your job. Do you make knitting patterns, create the yarn? Can you show some of the pieces you've made? So I've already flashed some of the pieces that I made. I can talk a little bit more about my job. So like I said, I used to be a freelance knitwear designer. So I would independently publish patterns on this Ravelry platform. I would also work with yarn companies. We would come up with some sort of intellectual property rights agreement, you know, who keeps the rights to the actual design, the actual pattern, etc. And so I'd work with yarn companies that way. I'd also work with knitting publications, much in the same way, where, you know, I would come up with a design, it would show up in the magazine. So I have a bunch of my designs in like Vogue Knitting, Interweave Knits. These are the big knitting publications. But now I'm a design director for a yarn company. So I work with them exclusively. I'm not freelance anymore. And all of my designs are under that yarn company. And my job description is much larger than just designing knitwear with their yarn, because it's a small company. And if any of you have worked at a small company or own a small company, you know that all of your employees in a small company wear many, many different hats. There isn't a lot of like division in a small company. You know, you like all are talking about everything all the time. So one of the things that I have helped with and am really enjoying is the development of yarn bases. So that's been really, really a lot of fun, getting to know the manufacturing of yarn and sharing my knowledge of like yarn and fiber and things with the people that I work with. That's been a lot of fun too. But the bulk of my job is creating designs, and because I'm a hand knitter and I'm not selling like the end product, what I'm selling is the actual knitting pattern. The actual pattern writing portion of it is a very, very big part of it. And I've had to like standardize it for this yarn company, and I work with tech editors, and that's a completely different skill set, which I actually enjoy doing. I really like writing out patterns, creating knitting charts and things like that. It's a lot of fun, and it's great. It's like a really nice balance. I think that's why this job really suits me, because I can use all different parts of my brain. I can use like the really creative side, you know, which is like the design part. And then there's like a really kind of technical, math loving side to me too. And I can use that to, you know, write patterns and things like that. So that in a nutshell is what I do. And then the next question is, how many hours a week do you spend on making, filming, editing videos? Would you do YouTube full time if it was financially viable? Let me answer that second question first. Would I do if it was financially viable? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I don't, right now, I don't think so. I enjoy my job too much. I enjoy the people that I work with too much. If I left my job, I think I would actually really miss the people, communicating with them every day, hanging out with them, going on business trips. Like the 2 weeks that I just spent in New York, 1 week of it was with them at a knitting convention, and I would really miss that time with them. And I really enjoy my job. I really enjoy what I do. So when I think about that, I don't think that I would ever do YouTube full time. But let's say for whatever reason that job went away, would I then consider YouTube and do it full time? You know, maybe. I really don't know. I've learned a long time ago, and maybe this is a good piece of advice for you younger folk out there, is I think it's nice to have goals and to plan your life to align with those goals. But I will tell you, life will throw you curveballs at almost every turn, and your plans will fall to shit. Your goals probably will remain the same, because those are usually really like high level, and they're aligned with like your personality and your sense of life. But in terms of like plans, I stopped making them. I really just try and see the like path that is lit up before me and follow that. Otherwise, I feel like you're just constantly frustrated. I don't know. I know some people who like plan their life out to a T, and it actually works out that way. My life has not turned out that way. So I'm at the point now where I'm very comfortable just kind of seeing like what happens, keeping my mindset really, really open, keeping my eyes and ears open for opportunities. So that's my really roundabout, indirect answer to would I do YouTube full time? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, the first part of this question, how many hours a week do you spend on making, filming, editing videos? You know, someone actually asked me this in real life a couple weeks ago, and I sat down. I really had to think, because I really had no idea. I was like 10, 20. And I think I do about 30 hours a week on YouTube, because I do it all day. And this is just an average week. This isn't a week where I'm traveling or if I have someone visiting or whatever. This is just, you know, a normal week for me where I'm home. So I will do like full days on Saturdays and Sundays, and then I'll work on it before work during the week and after work during the week. So it ends up about 30 hours a week. What I'm going to do is just kind of like scroll around and just sort of like stop on a question. Do you enjoy having your makeup done by someone else? I actually don't. I'm not someone that likes to be kind of like fawned over. It's probably why I only get my hair cut like once a year. I get massages, but only because they're therapeutic. They're good for you. I don't actually enjoy them too much. I hate getting my nails done. I've had maybe 3 facials in my life. And that again, it was just sort of like, you know, like I just kind of suffered through it. So I don't like being kind of like poked and prodded at. And that's what it feels like when I'm getting my makeup done, especially eye makeup. Man, once they go in with that eyeliner, I'm like, I'm always like, okay, easy there, easy with the eyeliner. And it's not that like, I don't, I'm worried about how it's going to turn out. It's the whole like touchy process that I'm not the biggest fan of. Generally, when I have had my makeup done, I've always been really happy with the results. I just can't get past the like coming at me aspect of getting my makeup done. Congratulations for 35K, Michele. Thank you. How did you get the nerve up to post to YouTube? How do you get an audience? No, I'm not thinking of doing it, but it would be my questions if I did. How did I get the nerve up to post to YouTube? I don't know. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I'm an introverted person, but I'm not very shy. And I also, I'm human, so of course I care what some people think of me, but in the general scheme of things, I don't care at all. So to me, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Like, you post it, you can always delete it. Like, I like trying new things and I like experimenting, and if something doesn't work out, then it's just another reason to laugh at yourself, basically. So I didn't have that much of an issue posting to YouTube. I was like, why the heck not? Everyone else is doing it. So that was kind of my attitude. And then, how do you get an audience? So I was very, very lucky because I kind of had a built-in knitting audience. Most of the people that enjoy my designs, a bunch of them followed me when I started my YouTube channel. Obviously, I didn't stick with knitting content, but that did give me like a nice base to start with. And that base, I know, is very, very difficult to build. It's very difficult to get from like 0 to 100 if you don't have followers from someplace else. But I will say, my knitting base wasn't gigantic. I think I had around 3,000 subscribers when I moved over into makeup and beauty. So there are a lot of tips and advice when it comes to growing your YouTube channel. And there's two that really have resonated with me. One is your thumbnail. It has to be good. If your thumbnail isn't good, no one's going to click on it. That to me is the most kind of like clear-cut reasoning why you need to have a good thumbnail. If it's not good, no one's going to click on it. And the second thing is to create a channel that has a niche. And so, as you guys know, this channel is dedicated to luxury, makeup, and skincare. I try not to veer off too much from it. I think as my channel grows, I may want to try some different things. But I think to grow your audience, they need to be able to come to you knowing what to expect. So anyway, those would be my 2 bits of advice on how to grow like an audience on YouTube. Hi, Michele. How do you overcome insecurities? Well, I think age helps a lot. I am definitely not as insecure as I was when I was, 22. I think what I like to do, and my friends always kind of, I don't know if they make fun of me, but they always think this is so curious about me. But as soon as I kind of like have an emotion about something, if I start to feel anxious, if I start to get scared, if I get nervous or whatever, what I try to do is separate that emotion from what I'm thinking. And I think that helps a lot with insecurity because it allows you to give like a logical viewpoint on what is going on. So let's say I walk into a party and all of a sudden I start to feel anxious, and sometimes you don't know what it is. And so I'll try and just remove that anxiety and say, well, what's going on? Why are you feeling anxious? Do you feel like people are looking at you? Do you hate the shoes you have on? Do you feel like your shoes don't match your clothing? Do you feel like you have a booger hanging out of your nose? Like, whatever it is. And then there's that voice in my head that's like, everyone in this room is insecure. Everyone in this room is having like mental chatter about stuff. And that is always kind of like the thought that always kind of like calms me down. Like, one thing this is so random, but one thing I really don't like is going to the dentist. And cleaning is fine, but I know when I get my teeth cleaned, it usually leads to something else. I have very weak enamel. And so I just hate getting my teeth cleaned. I do it. But I hate getting my teeth cleaned because I know it usually leads to I have to get a filling, or this is going on, or, or something else is happening. And what I always tell myself is this is small potatoes compared to what some people are dealing with. People get fillings every single day. Like, I really try and just minimize whatever it is that I'm feeling. So I always try and put what I'm feeling and what I'm going through into perspective immediately. As soon as I start feeling something like that, I just put it into perspective. Like, Michele, get a grip. You're getting a stupid feeling. Like, who cares? But, I have the luxury of doing that. I don't really suffer from anxiety. I don't really suffer from, depression. I'm not overly emotional. So I am able to do that. But I know for some people it's very, very difficult. But that's pretty much how I've overcome any insecurities: age and putting things into perspective. Congratulations. I absolutely love being a part of this little corner of YouTube. Me too, thank you. I was wondering if you give yourself a budget for beauty purchases, or if you are just hauling new items as they become interesting available. I love that you really love the products in your collection and was just curious about how you manage adding to it. Well, I don't have a budget. I do just buy things that are interesting to me, interesting and things that I want to talk about on my channel. So what I do is and I've talked about this before too, I think in another Q&A, I pay all my bills. I have a savings goal, so I put all of that money into savings. Like right now, I'm creating another savings account for a trip that I want to take. So then I put my money in there, my goal for that. And then anything that's left over is in my checking account. And that's the money I spend. And I will spend that until it's zero or not. And if there's anything left over at the end of the month, then that goes into savings. So that's how I work it. I'm not good with things like a budget because that requires a lot of planning. And I'm not very good at planning, especially when it comes to new products and this channel, because I do like reviewing new products and I don't know what is going to be released. Like a new product release will just pop up and I'm like, oh, I want that and that's perfect for my channel. And if I had a budget in place, that would not have been budgeted for it. So I don't know. So for me, I'm just not good at budgeting. It just doesn't work for me. And this is always something that I've done. And it works for me now. It didn't work for me when I was younger, when I was in a much different financial position. But I use that debit card. I go to that ATM machine until it says zero. But I've gotten all the other money out that I need to. It's put into savings. It's put into this account. And I've paid all my bills. So that's how I manage my money. It's a good thing I'm not a financial planner. What is your favorite swear word? God, there's so many. There's so many. I do like calling people assholes. I do say fuck a lot. I'm sorry. I do say fuck a lot. I say shit a lot. I don't know. I'm a very equal opportunity swearer. I definitely swear a lot less now that I'm living in Las Vegas than I did in New York. I mean, in New York, it was like, you just had to swear just, at strangers or whatever. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. What is your biggest pet peeve? Oh, biggest pet peeve. Well, this is actually a very newly developed pet peeve because I never had to drive as much as I do here in Vegas. My biggest pet peeve is when people don't signal. Like when they change a lane or when they're going to turn, just signal. I'm like, how hard is it to move that little lever on the side? I'm like, I can't read your mind. I don't know what you're doing. I think it's so dangerous not to signal. And it's like the world's easiest thing to do. It's easier than stepping on the gas pedal. It's easier than braking. It's easier than looking at your stupid iPhone while you're driving, is to signal. And yet no one seems to do it. Everyone here loves to drive like Mario Andretti and like they're the only person on the road. I don't get that. And then do you do most of your videos in one continuous take, or do you mess up from time to time and just edit it out? I mess up all the time and edit it out. Most of my videos are probably 3 to 4 times longer than what you end up seeing. And I'm sure you see it. My videos are pretty choppy. I'm not a very eloquent person, even though I used to do a lot of training and I've taught classes and I've done speaks. But anyway, I'm not a very eloquent person. And so I find myself always having to cut out really, I don't know, I'll throw in weird words, or I just won't finish a thought and then I'll start over again. Anyway, I'm terrible. So yeah, I do a lot of editing. Okay, hi Iris from Iris Loves Life. She's one of the OGs on this channel. If you could only eat one food every day for the rest of your life, what would it be? This is tough. I love, and I don't use that word lightly, I love food and I love eating. I find great joy in eating. So the idea of only being able to eat one thing, I think French fries. That's my thing. I love, love, love French fries. Oh, there were a few questions that I get all the time that I wanted to clear up. One were about my rings, and of course, I'm not wearing them. Like an asshole. So I usually have a giant moonstone. That's my wedding ring. That is a ring from Lucifer Vir Honestus. I will mention this down below in the description box. all of his rings are like hand molded. So you can get very, very similar rings from this jewelry company, but they won't be the same. So that's that ring. And then I have a stacking set here. A friend of mine made that for me, so that you can't purchase. And then I have a diamond ring here. It's like 2 rows of diamonds. And I wear that on the middle finger of my right hand. And that was custom made for my grandmother. So none of my rings you can actually purchase. They're all one of a kind, which is why I never really talk about them. But people are constantly asking me. The other thing people are constantly asking me about or commenting is how I pronounce my last name. So it is pronounced Wong, even though it is spelled with an A, W-A-N-G. But I tell people, like, how would you pronounce a magic wand? It's the same idea. So instead of W-A-N-D, it's W-A-N-G. Or you can think of it as an O instead of an A. But I just wanted to clear up those 2 things because I get asked that all the time. Congratulations on 35K. Thank you. My question is, does Miguel speak Spanish? LOL, do you understand? I saw your pictures in Acapulco and thought it might have come in handy if you did. Saludos de Mexico. Well, Miguel is my husband. He can speak Spanish. He's not like especially fluent, but he does start to like warm up to it. Like when we were in Mexico, he seemed to get a little bit more comfortable with it. They all spoke English there, so it wasn't that big of a problem. But I don't. I understand un poquito. I understand like a little bit, but I'm not one of those people that picks up languages easily, if at all. English is like a struggle enough for me, so I just kind of leave it there. So yeah, he speaks a little bit. He's not fluent, but he can pretty much understand it. How do you deal with nasty people? Also, are you into designer handbags? What other hobbies do you have? How do you deal with nasty people? I guess I just pretty much ignore them. I just kind of leave them in their pool of horror. And once any sort of anger or annoyance fades, I generally feel, I just feel really sorry for nasty people who are unhappy, nasty, insecure. Like, I just feel bad for them. It's a horrible, horrible way to go through life. Oh my God, I'm not knitting. It's just a horrible way to go through life. And yeah, I just feel really, really awful for those people. I am a really like happy-go-lucky, chill kind of person. So it just, to be that way, to think that way, to live that way is, I don't know, it just seems so sad to me. So that's how I deal with nasty people. And then the other question was also, are you into designer handbags? I am. I really love designer handbags. I feel like I'm always on the hunt for a really well-designed bag, and one that's using good material, and one that is useful because it's a handbag. It holds your stuff. It has to be comfortable, but one that also looks good. I think to have all of those things is really, really hard to find. So I'm kind of always obsessively looking at handbags and different handbag shapes and trying them on. And yeah, I have a lot of handbags. And what other hobbies do you have? Well, I do knit. I do spin, which is making yarn. So using a drop spindle or a spinning wheel to turn fiber into yarn. I do like doing that. I haven't done that in a while. I love drawing. I'm not that big of a painter. That's a little bit too much of a pain in the ass to kind of just set up and start doing. But I do love to draw. I love to sketch. I'm always kind of sketching out designs and stuff. So I do that a lot. And other hobbies, I don't know if this would be considered a hobby, but I do like working out. I mean, I'm not like constantly thinking about it, but I do like working out. I'm a member of Orange Theory, and so I try and go 3 times a week, and I really enjoy it. I do really like working out. All right, so that's it. I think this video is long enough. I'm sorry to everyone that I was not able to answer your questions, but we will definitely do this again. And do not forget to enter the giveaway. The link will be down below in the description box. Thank you guys again. I'm so thrilled to have 35,000 subscribers. It's really a number that I never thought of. It's not why I got into YouTube, and it's just amazing to me. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video.